What's going on, fellow crafters and crafters, and welcome back to another Fortnite video. My name's Kreek, and today we're going to be talking about the Fortnite mobile Android version and when it's possibly going to be releasing. So before we hop into this video, I do want to let you guys know that we do have a Season 4 Fortnite Battle Pass giveaway going on. I'll have a little card on the video, link in the description, and it's basically going on the channel, and we're going to draw a winner in a few days. So if you want to get the Season 4 Battle Pass on Fortnite for free, definitely go check out that video, and details on how to basically enter into the giveaway is on that video. As well, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. We do a ton of Fortnite stuff here, and I have a ton of Fortnite content planned for the channel. It's going to be awesome, and you definitely want to stay up to date on everything, so make sure you're subscribed with the bell icon tick. That way you'll be notified of every new video and stream. Alright, so Fortnite Mobile Edition on Android. When is it coming out? When's the release date? Let's talk about it. So before I get into the actual release date news and all of that stuff, I do want to kind of go over the difference between iOS and Android and why it takes longer for an Android version to come out than it does an iPhone version. Because a lot of people have been asking, and thinking that maybe Fortnite has some sort of deal with Apple, that it has to come out first on Apple platforms, all of that stuff, but that's not true. There is no deal with Apple. It's just that Apple iPhones are a lot easier to develop for than Android is. So basically you have to think about it like this, right? Say 10 people go out and buy an Xbox One, right? And then 10 people go out and buy a computer. Well, the 10 people who bought an Xbox One, all those Xbox Ones are basically the same thing. Exact same hardware, they're going to be running the exact same software, all of that stuff, exact same thing. Now with a computer, it's a little bit different because, you buy 10 different computers, they're going to have 10 different operating systems. Maybe, a couple's running Windows 7, maybe a couple's running Windows 8, maybe a couple's running Windows 8.1, maybe a few's running Windows 10, Windows 10.1, Windows 10.2. There's a lot of different operating systems out there you can run on computers. So that means there's a bunch of different software out there. And then not only that, but, every computer has different hardware configurations. Maybe you have a NVIDIA graphics card, or maybe you have a AMD graphics card, or an Intel CPU, or an AMD CPU. There's a bunch of different hardware configurations out there, so it's a lot harder for a game to be developed and ported to computers than it is for consoles. And that's why sometimes you see a game releasing first on console and then a few months later come out on PC. It's just because it's a little bit harder for it to come out and be released and developed on PC than it is for consoles, just because of the wide range of different hardware and software configurations. And it's kind of the same thing with Android and iPhones. They pretty much run the exact same operating system. If you have an iPhone X or an iPhone 6 or an iPhone SE or an iPhone 7 or an iPhone 8, pretty much any iPhone, it runs the exact same operating system as any other iPhone does. It's all supported. And not only that, but pretty much every iPhone has relatively the same hardware. I mean, there's different jumps here and there. Obviously, the iPhone X is a little bit more powerful than the iPhone 6, but for the most part, it runs the same hardware. With Android, however, it's different because you have a bunch of different Android operating systems depending on the company that made the phone. You have edited operating systems depending on the company who made the phone. You have different hardware configurations depending on the company who made the phone. There's Samsung, there's Galaxies, there's LG phones. There's a wide variety of different Android phones out there. And whenever it comes to porting games and developing games for it, you have to make sure it runs on everything, right? And since there's a lot of different, configurations and software differences when it comes to Android, it's a lot harder to make sure it runs on every Android device, which is why it takes a little bit longer to come out on Android. So with that being said, let's talk about the release date for the Android version. So while we don't know an official release date, and Epic Games has not, came out and been like, oh yeah, it's going to release on, March 8th or something like that, we do know basically a little bit about the potential release date, and we have a few clues. So if you don't know, Google is actually developing a brand new Android version called Android Pistachio Ice Cream. Kind of a weird name, but all Android operating systems and versions have weird names, so whatever. And they announced this back in February. They announced that there's going to be a brand new Android version coming out in a few months. Normally, it takes a few months after they announce it to come out, and since it was in February, it's probably going to come out within, another 2-3 months, probably like middle summer, something like that. And everyone's been thinking that basically Fortnite is waiting for this operating system to come out before it releases, because once this operating system comes out, rumors have said that it's a lot like the iPhone X operating system in design. So a lot of people have been speculating that it's going to be a lot easier for the game to be ported over once this operating system comes out. So once this operating system comes out, like maybe midsummer or something like that, I have a feeling that basically Epic Games is going to be like, okay, yeah, we're going to be running Fortnite on this operating system. This is going to be the primary operating system that runs Fortnite, and any phones that can run this operating system will be able to play Fortnite. So I expect that there's going to be an announcement regarding the Android version sometime soon once that operating system releases. Also, by the way, if you guys want to check all these sources, all the links to the articles in the description, so feel free to check those. Now, something interesting as well is that the iOS version, in literally just like a month, made $25 million. That is crazy, guys. $25 million, all right, in just 1 month on the iOS version of Fortnite. That's a lot of money. So you can basically imagine, I say basically a lot, I'm sorry, but you can imagine that Epic Games really wants this out on Android, because Android, there's more Android phones out there than there are iPhones. So if iPhones can make $25 million, you bet that Android's probably going to make 30, 40, maybe even $50 million. So I'm sure that, Epic Games is trying to get Fortnite out on Android as quickly as possible. Again, they're basically just waiting on this one operating system update to come out. That way, it's, a lot easier to port over for all of the Android phones and get it to run smoothly on all Android phones, because Fortnite's a big game. It's a big game, and it runs, very well on phones, and they want to make sure it stays that way. Now, something else to point out as well real quick that's somewhat relevant is that there was a Twitter user called Leaky Pandy, at Leaky Pandy is his Twitter handle, and he's basically known to leak various stuff in the gaming industry, and he basically leaked that Epic Games is considering releasing Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch. I'm sure you know what the Nintendo Switch is. It's basically like a portable console Nintendo released last year, and it's doing pretty well. A lot of people have Nintendo Switches. It's doing a lot better than the Wii, and Epic Games probably wants Fortnite on it, because if they put Fortnite on the new Nintendo Switch, well, it's not new at this point, but if they put it on the Nintendo Switch, then Fortnite will literally be on every single platform. It'll be on Xbox, it'll be on PS4, it'll be on PC, it'll be on Android, it'll be on iOS, it'll be on Nintendo Switches, it'll be on literally everything except the toaster in your kitchen, which is going to basically generate them a lot of money, and it'll allow everyone to play together. So if you're like on a Nintendo Switch, you'll be able to play with your Xbox friends. If you're on your PS4, you'll be able to play with your Nintendo friends, vice versa. So when is the Fortnite Android mobile version coming out? Probably relatively soon. Probably not going to take that much longer. Like I wouldn't imagine it to be another year before it comes out. I imagine maybe a couple months. Google is actually having a Google Fair sometime in May, somewhere near the beginning. I don't know the exact date, but it's basically where they announce all of their big new Google stuff. So I imagine they're going to be talking about the new pistachio ice cream. That's such a weird name, but the pistachio ice cream Android update, and I'm sure we'll probably get some Fortnite news around then as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, be sure to hit that subscribe button, click the bell icon, turn on your notifications. Again, if you want to enter our Fortnite Season 4 Battle Pass giveaway, link is in the description. There'll be a card on the video as well. Thank you guys so much for watching though, and I will see you guys next time in the next Fortnite video and live stream. Bye!